Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Privacy Fridays back-to-back with FightBack Cybersecurity. This is our 6th episode, and with me today are, unahin natin, of course, the godfather of cybersecurity, Lito Abirihan. Magandang gabi, Lito. FightBack Cybersecurity. This is our 6th episode, and with me today, unahin natin.
Magandang hapon.
Dito mukhang nag-double yung mo. Sino may nakabukas yung, ayan. Off mo muna. Okay, magandang gabi.
Pinatay ko na.
Mukhang naka-jacket na yun or naka-coat ba yan? Yeah?
Oo. ACG uniform.
Oh, shout out sa mga taga-ACG. No? Magandang gabi po. Saka sa mga taga-ITMS. Again, mga suki ng Privacy Fridays and FightBack Cybersecurity, mga ka-BounceBack at mga ka-NADPOP at PH-CERT, magandang gabi. Ito po ang ating kasamang si Abet de la Cruz. Galing na pa rin sa kabilang network. Magandang gabi, Abet.
Hi, good evening Sam, good evening Lito. Magandang gabi po sa mga tagapanood natin. Biyernes na naman. Thank you very much sa patuloy niyong pagsuporta po.
Tama. And ngayon ito, ang ating kasamang si Attorney Kiko Acero, nasa La Union. Yan. So, meron siyang out-of-town shooting sa La Union. Di ba? Buti na lang.
Tumatakas sa ulan.
Oo, yung mga producers mo, no? Last week po, hindi yata pinayagan si Attorney Kiko na kanyang mga producers na lumabas sa show. Personal time. Namimiss namin si Titus Manuel saka si RD Barcelo, no? So probably maulan ngayon sa Metro Manila. Please be safe, lalo na po yung mga nasa labas. Ingat po sa baha, no? Wag po kayong lumusong, wala kayong protection sa inyong mga paa dahil po delikado. Kaya yun. Again, ito pong 6th episode, yung pong aking talk mamaya isang recording lamang, pagpasentahan niyo na po. Kaya lang po, ginamit namin yun sa aming isang event recently pero hindi siya naipalabas. Ngayon po, ito, first pag-usapan natin updates, no, sa data privacy sa cybersecurity. Yan, ilabas natin tong hinahanda ng ating kaibigang si Abet de la Cruz. Yan, Abet, ano ba tong heavy na infographic na to, no, na the Philippines placing 61st in global cybersecurity ranking? Pakipaliwanag naman sa ating mga manonood.
Well, since uso po ang mga global index ngayon, na di ba may education index, may economic index, tignan po naman natin yung cybersecurity index or cybersecurity ranking ng Pilipinas, no? Katuwang yung mga ibang bansa. Ayan po. Kaya yan yung nakikita natin, no? It actually shows yung level of commitment of a country with regards to several aspects ng cybersecurity. You know? So the legal, technical, organizational, capacity development, and cooperation. So dyan po base yung mga points. Sir Lito, today we are 77 in the rank. Ano nga tayo last year?
58.
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Sorry. 2 years ka pala to.
The index comes out every 2 years, no? So 2 years ago, we ranked at 58. among several countries. Marami.
Three notches down. Bumaba tayo ng tatlong places, no? Pero sa ASEAN, pangilan tayo. Singapore number. Uy, by the way, speaking of Singapore, magandang gabi, Wilson Chua.
Hoy! Parang Wilson, kumusta?
Wilson, magandang gabi po. Sa Singapore, hi daw sa ating lahat, sabi ni ating Wilson Chua, one of our top cybersecurity expert, based in Singapore, pero palaging puso ang Pilipinas.
Yeah.
Imbitahan natin minsan si Wilson.
So yes, dami niyang insights.
Pwede. Grabe. Yung ginagawa niyang analytics.
Lodi Wilson.
The father of BAS, yan.
Yan, tama.
Yan.
Pero tingnan nyo, number 1 Singapore sa Asia, no? 4th ang rank niya, no? Tied sila ng South Korea, diba? So, and then Malaysia sa close second. Tingnan mo, so actually third si Malaysia behind Singapore and South Korea. Japan, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, China, Thailand. Sa pa lang ang Philippines. Ahead lang tayo sa Brunei, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Timor-Leste, and North Korea. So again, you mentioned several pillar scores, no? Yung legal measures, ayan, ang galing, perfect tayo. 20 out of 20. Di ba? Congratulations to our lawmakers. No?
Actually, di ba we were talking earlier, Attorney Kicks had offer some explanation on bakit tayo bumaba. Ano kaya, Attorney Kicks?
Yeah, yan. Kasi sa batas, kung titinong yung batas, yung framework nandun. Pero you look at yung technical measures, medyo ibig sabihin kulang na sa budget, hindi na yung the hardware that we need to fight, no, wala na. Organizational measures tsaka capacity development. Ang daming factors doon mismo within those two. So maybe we should unpack those. Kasi capacity development, ibig sabihin nun, your training, your manpower, your where you're going, your understanding of the and then yung organizational measures mo kasi nga sobrang musical chairs ng ating mga those who are tasked with fighting cybercrime.
Yun ang pinakamababa sa atin, no? Yung organizational measures, 11.85 out of a score of 20. Well, yung talaga 77 over 100 lahat, no? Pero yun ang pinakamababa natin followed by capacity development, no? And these are things that are within our control, di ba? Kasi mga tao naman yung nag-handle yan, di ba? Hindi naman yan equipment or hindi naman yan di ba? So, and then the technical measures, 13 out of 20. So,
actually, yung sa CAG, for example, yung sa ACG, for example, dati, ang manpower complement is only about 100, no? Spread nationwide din kasi may mga cybercrime offices na rin sa probinsya. Now, na-approve yan 2 years ago to increase the headcount to about 800. Ang problema, recruitment ng tamang tao.
Correct.
So,
the number is there, pero yung quality kasi, di ba?
Oo.
You need to spend time kasi with the whole concept of digital forensics, and then dapat babad ka. And then you learn by doing. So you build up a practice, you build up a professionalism. Kung lagi kang umaalis, you're never gonna get that done.
ACG, by the way, for our listeners, it's an anti-cybercrime group. Again, Lito Oberies, one of the members of the Advisory Council of the PNP anti-cybercrime groups. Si Abet, ex-member yan, pero dapat Abet, bumalik ka na magsilbi ka uli sa bayan.
Absentee raw ako palagi kinik out na.
Pero yung shortage of skills talaga namang prevalent yan di ba? Kasi ang hirap mag-produce talaga ng world-class cybersecurity or information security professionals. Similarly, pati data privacy professionals. Senior ko nga, di ba? May 900 open headcount ang data protection officers in the Philippines. So, and worldwide, di ba yung gap will be 5 million. Starting this year, 5 million na kailangan na information security professionals and data privacy professionals. Ang buong mundo. Okay, so kung magtatrabaho ako sa Pilipinas, ito naman, maya meron tayo update sa sweldo kaysa magtrabaho ako sa Pilipinas. Sa abroad na ako. Diba? Mas malaki ako. So, na naman. No? Kaya, yun.
Tsaka isang advocacy ko to address nga yung capacity problem, yung capability problem. Isa sa advocacies ko is for the PNPA to make cybercrime, in particular yung investigation and forensics, as a core subject doon sa academy. So, may tinatrabaho ko yan, mga 2-3 taon na.
Pero let's corroborate yun this. Kasi maraming private sector organizations na tumutulong sa capacity building, di ba? Training, halos walang problema. Pero tama ka eh. Sometimes meron ding mga nasa government service na because natuto na sila, certified na sila, they move on to the private sector, madalas abroad.
Pero,
what I mean is, capacity versus retention. Ano yung retention plan mo? Diba? To keep them.
Exactly. Yes, that's the other issue. Yeah. No? Pero yun nga, yung sa training natin, mas focus nga sa cybersecurity. Now, it's not, there's a lack of addressing nga yung capacity building sa law enforcement, in particular sa investigation nga ng cybercrime. No? Konting-konti. Kung konti na yung cybersecurity professionals natin o yung pool na maging qualify, mas konti pa yung sa cybercrime investigation.
Plus so, not just cybercrime investigations, yung the other crimes where gamit yung ICT. So hindi nila na-appreciate. So dami sanang evidence na nakita doon kasi 'di ba? Sinasabi natin sa digital forensics, everything is based on this.
Tama. Tama si Attorney Kicks kasi sometimes yung mga tao jump kagad sa forensics, di ba? So yung foundation is not there. What they do is yun lang nakikita nila what they're exposed to every day. Di ba? So ano yung behind? Infosec management, chain of custody, digital evidence. We cannot overemphasize enough na dapat sound yung foundation knowledge mo with regard to hindi lang cybersecurity, but information security dapat sound. Para pagtalon mo doon sa sa other mga disciplines or specializations, maganda yung pagkakaintindi mo. Kaya yun ang madalas mangyayari.
Kasi
yan pa isang issue. Yan pa rin isang issue.
Otherwise,
Yan pa rin isang issue is understanding nga yung rules on electronic evidence. How do you present it to the prosecutor? Diba? How do you present it in court? Yung case build-up mo, pagka hindi mo naintindihan yung rules on electronic evidence, mahina ang case build-up mo. Diba? May nakita na tayo mga kaso ganyan.
Na yung digital evidence into the ordinary evidence. Dapat alam mo rin yun.
Correct. Tapos mapupunta ka pa sa prosecutor or judge na hindi na hindi marunong ng digital. Wala na.
Wala na.
Wala bang best practice ng ibang countries na pwede nating adapt? Ang naisip ko kung may kulang ang warm bodies, di ba? Yung cybersecurity sa service, i-pull together ng mga government agencies yung kanilang mga talents. And then mag-share sila pwede ba mangyari yun? Yung ganong klaseng arrangements.
Actually, we have the knowledge already. Matagal na na-train sa atin yan eh. So what happens is we keep sending batches and batches and batches abroad. And then pagkatapos ng training na yun, they get scattered to the four winds. And wala na. Yung institutional knowledge, burale. So then you have to train them again. So they need to stay inside. The retention that's the most important thing. You need to create that retention and then you need to create your own practices inside. And that's how you build the world-class. Because when they teach you, that's from their experience. Yung experience natin iba eh. So,
it's true.
Diba? I mean, just putting a post-mortem, something as simple as a post-mortem for every case, di natin magawa. So yun, nandun sa capacity development, sa organizational measures.
Hindi mo talaga may iwasan yung maging siloed or territorial or turf. No? Pero sana, in areas where talents can be combined or centralized that will benefit everybody could be established. For example, meron kang National Digital Forensics Lab, di ba? So naka-station yung mga tao doon, experience sila on forensics, regardless, si ICC kukuha, PNP kukuha, ACG kukuha. But the practice is, sound and expert na yung may iwan doon kasi nandun sila palagi, di ba? So yung mga ganun ba? I guess initiatives like that should be in order.
Isang pangarap ko, Abet, mag-set up ng private forensics lab, digital forensics lab. I-service natin sa kanila.
Yan naman pala eh. Magkano ang kailangan mo, ha?
Ang forensicator, 1 million.
Dollars.
Pesos naman.
Pesos naman.
Kala ko euros Attorney Kiko.
Pero ano pa yan 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Galing kay ano.
Yeah.
Bakit hindi gawin ng
suppliers tayo dito eh.
Hindi yung mga vendors, can't they do for example, they form a consortium ng technology vendors. So something similar, yun, security as a service, di ba? And then to help the government. Yun at least they can pay. Parang CSR project nila, di ba? Take
yung vendor may offer din siya eh. Nag-o-offer din siya ng service na yun eh.
May managed service.
Yung mga vendors, tsaka yung mga vendors kasi, lalo na yung the big ones, no? Alam naman natin kung sino yung mga yan. They have their own cyber labs, cybersecurity labs. Okay? From all the way from from threat intelligence to forensics, ginagawa nila.
Yes. Lalo na yung managed security services.
Yes.
Kasama yun.
Pero baka meron na, no? Again, it may be a best practice in other countries, yung private-public partnerships sa ganyan, no? Napansin ko sa headline dito, yung nilagay nila, most committed economies ang nilagay nilang headline, hindi countries. So, they're actually looking at this as a commitment of the country. Pero again, economies, and then least committed economies. At least hindi tayo zero. Yemen is 0.
So, meron negosyo sa Yemen.
Di ba?
Yemen tayo doon.
And interestingly, sa study, Vatican 0 din, Vatican.
Kaya ang daming fraud sa Vatican, di ba?
0. And then Micronesia, ito yung mga 0 na tatlong economies.
Ayun naman, hindi na kailangan ng Vatican yan. God will provide.
Sige. Physical archive din.
Crime rate nga sa Vatican, 4:1. 4 crimes to 1 citizen.
Okay, let's not go there. Baka ma-excommunicate.
Dan Brown tayo niyan.
Ang ganda nito kasi very clear yung di ba? Very clear yung areas where you have to improve. And at the same time, naka-benchmark ka sa other countries. So wala ka excuse, di ba? Di mo pwede sabihin na, hindi, okay lang sa'yo sa amin. Pero we're being benchmarked against other countries Di ba?
So, ITU.
Correct.
Tama yan, Sam. Kasi tingnan natin kung saan where we are weakest, and then we can work from there. Di ba? Address that issue where we are weakest and strengthen that.
Correct. Coming from the private sector, government, di ba? In these areas.
Pero identify natin yung immediately doable.
Guys, di ba lagi tayong nagko-complain about implementation sa Pilipinas? Dito, na-explain niya kung ano yung problema natin sa implementation.
Ang galing, napakasimple nga. Legal measures, technical measures, organizational measures, capacity development measures, and cooperation measures. Incidentally, mataas tayo sa cooperation measures.
Shout out sa ating friends sa DOJ Office of Cybercrime. Sila yun, yung mga cooperative measures natin. Sila yun.
Ang galing. So, yun lang talaga yung we have to improve on ito.
Lahat naman ng MLAT request sa DOJ dumadaan
Oo.
Yung mga MLAT requests.
Correct.
Dapat tayo sa Budapest Convention ba?
Yeah.
Sa signatory tayo.
Okay.
Matagal na tayong naka-accede.
Matagal na.
Hindi, di ba we know workout or was it, so I'm talking of something else? Sa cybercrime.
Matagal na. It's been a number of years since we have acceded to the convention.
Pwede natin balikan to Let's do a deep dive on technical measures, organizational measures, capacity,
Matagal yan.
Yung tatlo. We're responding to the study, and then at the same time, siguro yung mga nakikinig sa atin, they can also add their ideas kung ano yung how do we do it better. Yun naman ang goal natin, di ba? Sana in 2 years time, hindi na tayo 61. So, at least higher na.
In 2
I
years,
hope we improve in the rankings.
61. Kasi
Oo,
nakatayo na yung cyber forensics lab din dito.
Well,
Ang daming
Thailand.
low-hanging fruit na nakalagay dun sa definitions, dun sa side, sa technical and organizational measures.
Yep.
Isa-isahin mo lang yan, di ba? Tutukan lang yan. Okay. Ang sarap pag-usapan nito actually. Again, it entails a lot of people. Pero ito si Arnie Barcelo nag-hi sa atin. Yan.
Arnie, pa.
Hi Arnie, magandang gabi. Yan, para kaming apat. Hello. Okay.
Makikinig lang daw muna siya sa chismis.
Oo nga. Hello din kay Laiko. Maricel, magandang gabi ulit. Salamat for joining us again. No? Thank you very much. Mukhang perfect attendance si Maricel. Okay. Art Calderon, magandang gabi. Yan. Good evening, handsome panelist. Isa lang. Sino kaya ang handsome panelist na nag-iisa dito?
Kasi dito yun. Walang doubt dito.
Ay, forma pa lang, Forma pa lang eh. And then Wilson Chua says again, ito may comment siya. Red teaming is considered sexier than being the best.
Wilson naman, anything red is sexy.
Tama yan. Color na lang, Diba?
Okay.
Pero yung misconception na yung blue team, pwede mong ilagay sa red team, and yung red team, pwede mong ilagay sa blue team ng ganun lang. Not true.
Well,
Not true.
Okay.
Diba?
It's a byword.
Iba mindset eh.
It's called purple teaming, where you exchange roles and then learn, supposedly get from the learnings. Yeah. So it's called purple teaming. It's kind of hybrid of it.
It's a mixed group.
Yep.
Yeah. Pero iba yung skill sets nilang dalawa.
Pwede.
Oh.
Pwede.
Agree. Pero ikaw, ano ka ba, Bet? Red ka ba o blue? Ikaw dito.
Okay. I would say sa red kasi, it's the team where you get to really, churn out your techniques and ideas, be creative. Sa blue, you're more of dependent sa tools and then sa available products because you're defense diba? So I think on the red side mas creative. So I'm all for sometimes switching the roles para matuto yung kabila. Me, I've been on both sides. Admittedly, mas exciting yung red, syempre.
Kasi yung na blue na.
Ano mas
That's
exciting?
true.
Ikaw yung magnanakaw o security guard ka?
Si Lito sa tingin ko purple yan Can do both, di ba, Lito? Kasi attorney Kiko red yan. Red na red yan, di ba, attorney Kiko? At tumindig. Wag daw. Purple daw. Okay, iwanan muna natin ito. Update ang sarap pag-usapan niya kasi nga po nakikita natin big picture for the Philippines kung saan po natin pwedeng pagandahin pa at paigtingin ang ating cybersecurity infrastructure sa Pilipinas. Ito na ang update na susunod. Galing kay Lito. Pakikwento naman bakit mo po senior ito sa ating group, Yung Manila COVID-19 vaccination website vulnerable to data breach, a resident warned. So pakikwento naman dito sa ating mga manonood kung ano tong nangyari dito sa report ng Philippine Star.
Well, may nag-report nga na yung sumulat nitong article na to, na napansin niya na yung one-time password hindi man lang siya naka-encrypt. So plain text, nung napansin niya na may gano'n, so sinubukan niya. And he was able to view detailed information of who registered doon sa website. Okay? And I also think that it's true for many of the LGU solutions, Kasi nga hindi na vet, Hindi na vet yung mga LGU solutions. Even yung data collection practices is highly questionable Yung ginawa. Basta, kolekta lang ng kolekta. At yung data collection is not also limited. So, imagine, ano ba yung relation, halimbawa, ng if you're a registered voter at saka kung ano yung voting precinct mo, ano yung relation mo sa vaccination.
Mo.
Di ba? So, yan yung issue dyan. So, this guy had reported it to the DICT. So, and he's hoping action. That the DICT will take action.
Yung relation daw ng precinct, depende yung swag na makukuha mo pagkabakuna.
Ay, brand.
Ganon.
Qualify natin yung vulnerability, no? Kasi sabihin niya, hindi encrypted? Encrypted naman yan eh. Naka-SSL kami, naka-TLS kami. Encryption po yun during transmission. Okay? Meron pong application na encryption, meaning kung magpapasa ka ng password, dapat encrypted sana siya. So, konting background, no? Paano na-check yan? Pag nag-surf ka or pumunta ka sa isang website, tulad dito for example, yung vaccination website, nagpapadala yan ng commands and you can view those commands, no? Kahit mismo sa browser, may mga tools na i-click ka lang, makikita mo kung ano yung communication between your computer and the server. So yun, may mga parts na dapat naka-encrypt, especially kung nagtatransmit ka ng sensitive data, ng password. So most of the time, nakakalimutan nila yung application level encryption. Tapos sasabihin nung encrypted naman yan. So magkaiba po yun, no? Maraming parte ng communication between yung computer nyo to the server na dapat naka-encrypt din.
Hindi lang yung communication.
Sa mentality na hindi naman kami bangko, ba't namin kailangan maglagay ng bank level encryption dyan?
Yeah, but we're talking about privacy.
Yun nga. Wala
Pero bakit sa DICT nag-complain yung ba't hindi sa NPC nagpadala ng
Ayan ang hindi ko alam. Bakit siya sa DICT dumulog?
Siguro may kakilala sa CERT PH.
Siguro.
Okay rin naman, tama rin naman na magsabi sa CERT kasi local government yung concern niya, hindi naman private institution. So I think yes, okay naman kung isa NCERT rin siya. Dahil meron ding Computer Emergency Response Team. So maybe yun yung reason or logic behind it.
Kung may sinilip siya na data doon, breach na yun, di ba? Kung meron siya nakita. Technical, right? Attorney Kiko. The fact that may sinilip niya na yung information, nakita niya ibang data ng ibang tao, di ba? That's the Yun eh. So anyway, yun nga again, if you're from an LGU, pakitingnan po yung inyong mga data collection system, lalo na po sa vaccination. Kasi po health records din po ang katapat niyan. And yun nga, if you're over-collecting, huwag niyo pong kolektahin yung hindi niyo kailangan na data. Okay? So lalo po yun. Hindi naman kailangan malaman kung butante yan o hindi. Di po ba? Yun lang po siguro ang dito, ang lesson dito. Dito, thank you for sharing this, Kita. So,
yes.
Naman natin ngayon ito sa NPC. Alam niyo ba sa NPC, siguro dahil sa ulan, isa lang ang update nila this week sa kanilang Facebook page. So, tingnan natin ito. Magkakaroon tayo sa NPC ng mga 2021 DPO briefings. Ang sabi nila, hindi ito yung ACE. Okay, iba to. Attorney Iko, alam mo itong mga briefing na to, no? What are these?
What happens in a DPO briefing?
Yeah, actually we're trying to find out din kasi as of right now, puno na yung slots. This is just the NPC's way to reach out to their DPOs. Siguro to increase engagement. Alam ko may announcements na i-roll out dito and I would assume this has something to do with helping people avoid those fines na baka mag-online after this na.
So, Attorney Kis, puno na hanggang November 29 yung slots?
I'm not sure. My people try to register.
Oo.
Kasi di ba marami kami.
MS Teams ang ginagamit nila, di ba? Teams ang kanilang...
Yes, MS Teams. So ano yan, may limit yung tao. So hopefully, kasha.
Open na lang nila sa Ayaw nila mag-Facebook Live, no? Mahirap. But anyway, again, NPC, thank you for these briefings. Yun lang sana, matagdagan ba yung schedules nyo. Yan, July 29 ang first session. So, kung puno na yan, subukan nyo mag-register doon sa October, November. Baka po makahabol pa kayo. Go to the NPC Facebook page para po makita yung ibang updates. Okay?
Shout out sa ating mga friends dyan sa
Privacy PH, magandang gabi. Kaibigan natin dyan. Okay? So, itong update nila, ito, very relevant sa pinag-uusapan natin sa retention. No? si Jam posted the 2021 IAPP Privacy Professional Salary Survey. Ano yata to, twice a year or every year, no? So ito pinapakita po dito yung average salary for privacy professionals. Since 2019, tumaas po siya ng $6,000 yung average. Ngayon po, 141,000 annual average salary po. Okay? And then
May nagtatanong saan daw pwedeng mag-apply.
LinkedIn po, marami po sa LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. LinkedIn.
Saan mo pwede mag-apply na ganyan yung sweldo?
Di ba? Tapos yun, 75% receive an average of 21,000 in additional compensation. Di ba? So talagang
may bonus.
May bonus pa, no? And then kung super high level ka na, di ba, chief privacy officer ka na, you have several DPOs under you and COPs. Median salary of $200,000 every year. Di ba? Average annual salary yan. Okay? Kaya lang sinabi din ng study dito, may gender pay gap pa rin between males and females. So globally, mas mataas pa rin ang average ng men by 9% globally, and sa US 14%. Sa tingin ko sa Pilipinas, we're very gender balance eh. Di ba? So
pero bukod dun sa pay gap, sa gender pay gap, meron pa rin tayong imbalance sa yung sa gender. May kaunti lang yung practitioners ng cybersecurity.
Correct.
Hindi ko alam sa privacy ngayon, no? Sa yung
maraming females na.
Pa rin?
Alam ko maraming females, pero yun na, kaunti pa rin eh.
In my office, mas maraming babae. Pero top heavy lalaki just because nandun ako. Pero when Jam was talking about this, even Jam's staff is mostly women. Lalaki lang kasi siya.
Sa Ateneo.
And then, but he's also saying na this is that scale kasi 10 years na silang nagpa-practice ng privacy. Sa atin, medyo for the pure Philippine context, mas maliit. So, sana umabot dyan after 10 years.
Correct. Yung mga career shifters, ang magandang talaga mag-shift kayo sa data privacy saka information or cybersecurity. Kasi talaga, yun nga, sabi ni Engels sa ating sa Cybersecurity 101, 5 million po ang kailangan i-fill up globally on these roles. And this is how much on the average these roles are being paid worldwide. So again, pinakamalapit sa atin siguro Singapore, marami ding needs. I haven't seen the latest figures from Singapore on the number of data privacy and cybersecurity files that they need, pero tumataas po siya talaga. Kasi nga po talagang the threats are there. And the laws are being tighter. Talagang maging mahigpit ang mga batas ngayon talaga. So kailangan talaga natin ng data privacy and cybersecurity professionals. Again, tying this to our first discussion point, capacity building to. Diba? So
pero kailangan alamin din natin maybe sa Singapore, Singapore experience. At the time nag-umpisa ako dito yung formal certification, for example, on business continuity. Mag-isa ako sa Pilipinas, sa Singapore, naka 200, 300 na sila kaagad. At the time. Nag-uumpisa pa lang yung practice nun. In the same manner, sa cybersecurity, yung certified cybersecurity professionals, 10 times yung number nila sa number natin. This time around, pati sa privacy officers, they got a lot more than us. So they're doing something to develop the talent.
Correct. And sa atin, di ba? I mean, if you're investing, for example, in sports, again, malapit na kasi yung Olympics you should also invest in these types of jobs, di ba? Yung beginning with STEM, we always go back to that. Yung STEM practice sa Pilipinas, hindi kailangan. Has to be taken as seriously as lawyers, how you train lawyers, and of course, how you train doctors. Sorry, Attorney Kiko. Yung the same sana mas marami tayong maging data privacy and cybersecurity professionals in the coming future. Encourage po yung mga anak nyo. Kasi nakita nyo naman, the salary, average salary is increasing. And it will continue to increase.
In my team, again, counting everyone in my team, we're around 18. 3 lang yung lawyers doon. So it's not necessary na you become a lawyer. It helps, but that's not the only thing you're supposed to be able to see.
Tapos mag-triple hat kayo. Si Attorney Kiko, cybersecurity professional din yan at the same time, legal professional. Kaya pwede kayo mag-double hat po. Yan, yung mga lawyers na gustong mag-focus on cybersecurity, please do so in data privacy. Yan. Yeah, thank you, Jam. Actually, yung second tweet, ito, nakakatuwa. Nakita ko rin doon sa yan, TikTok fined 750,000 euros for Dutch privacy violation. Ang issue, sinamarize, paglabag sa privacy ng mga minor de edad sa naturang bansa. So, the Dutch really, ito, di ba? Sabi nga nilito kanina, we were discussing this at the backstage. Hindi naman alam ni TikTok yung totoong edad ng mga, di ba? Yung mga So, but again, test case to. TikTok is a global platform already and marami nga yan. It's the platform for Gen Z and Generation Alpha in our kids, nephews, and nieces in yung mga kanilang platform. So, and there's a lot of content being shared on TikTok. Some of them, unsavory, some of them, But again, we have to watch this closely, Kasi baka sumunod yung ibang countries. Attorney Kiko, how does the European Union react? Pagka isang country ganito. Yan. So,
yan. So, yan yung nag-complain sa Netherlands na siya. So, yan yung finding for that Privacy Enforcement Authority. So, GDPR na rin yan. What's interesting is how they came up with the fines. Kasi yung TikTok, yung niyan, yung strength niyan is in the algorithm development. So, nakita kanyang at a certain age, therefore it will pattern certain content for you talaga. So that's a problem. Pag hindi kayo transparent. And TikTok, if anything, it's not transparent.
Sa kasi minor de edad, meron tong parang child exploitation
Sabi sa GDPR, may special considerations dapat for processing of minor information. So dapat yung privacy notice niya mas tailored to younger audiences. Tapos ka pa rin, transparency, legitimate purpose, proportionality. Hindi ganun ka-clear si TikTok na ginagawa niya yun. Which is why the Dutch Privacy Enforcement Authority gave that 750,000 euro fine, which is small compared to the fines that they could have given.
Palit lang talaga. Pero this is just one country, Pwede sumunod ang ibang di ba? Ibang EU countries.
Pwede. Basta may magreklamo. Well, tingnan natin kung anong gagawin ni Max Schrems.
Warning to parents also, yung mga anak niyo po na nagti-TikTok, and make sure that they're not sharing, sensitive personal information on TikTok. Ingat lang po sa pag-create ng content. And then ito, again, this is another relevant, tied to the yung pinost ni dito from Philippine Star, The identifying medical patient data doesn't protect our privacy. So again, the identification is one of the process for anonymization of data. But then again, sabi nga ng article ito from Stanford universities that it doesn't guarantee that our privacy is protected every time the identification happens. So again, your comments, gentlemen, on this post.
Alam niyo guys, yung Taiwan tried to put up a de-identification standard. So, yung National Standards Office na parang ISO. So, they put up a de-identification standard. Within a few months, useless na siya. So, as early as siguro 2017, tinitingnan na yan na de-identification standards don't really work long periods of time. You need to keep on evolving it.
Yeah. Hindi, mabilis ang development din dyan and there are technologies, lalo na nga ngayon na mas mabilis, machine learning, AI, tapos analytics, pag-halo-haloin mo yan. Somehow, the de-identified data because of the growing number of data points that you can gather could lead to re-identification. So yan ang mahirap dyan. So technology moves, technology evolves. Yan din yung sinasabi ko parati, na the speed at which technology develops is also the same speed at which yung mga problems na ganito are cropping up.
Especially during this pandemic, ang daming personal information, especially for healthcare, that's being collected. And lalo na yung those who have contracted it, di ba? Yung, again, if your information is exposed and ayaw mo naman siya exposed, parang, di ba, marami tayong narinig na na-ostracize, di ba, na isolate ng kanilang mga kapitbahay kasi nga nalaman ng mga kapitbahay nila But they were yung iba naman kinukunan ng video habang kinukuha ng ambulansya yung kanilang so there are several instances like this So again, doon pa lang at onset pa lang mayroon ng violation of privacy kasi nga kinunan ng video and upload. In-identify pa yung kapitbahay nila na hindi naman nila alam kung talagang COVID positive yun. Baka nadapa lang, di ba? So, kaya kinukuha. So, again, but this is an area I believe that can also help in the long run with the proper technology application. Dito, Abet and Attorney Kiko. Really,
But challenging pa rin.
Actually,
Challenging pa rin.
May line yan between usefulness and fuzziness. Kasi fuzziness is what will really protect you. Kasi nga, sobrang within a particular range. So, di mo na di mo na ma-re-identify yan. But if you have enough fuzziness, the usefulness of that data to you for your further processes, nawawala.
Yeah. So, yun recommend nito article is that, well, it is one of the few cases na technology has overtaken yung method to anonymize. Kaya sabi niya, if we wait for the technology na humabol, might as well maglagay na lang tayo ng mga legal safeguards to go after yung mga until such a time that there's probably a better code to anonymize the data or to catch up. So I guess it's a practical solution at this point. Yes.
For Nagiko, meron tayong di ba? The NPC has a vertical group for healthcare, Meron sila, So I believe they're practicing this already. Sana nga yun, they can share best practices amongst themselves.
Yeah.
So that they can identify what's the best way to protect those information.
Pero I think we should stop focusing on trying to get anonymization standards. Kasi na lang yan the only way that you can do that is if you aggregate data. But otherwise, parang if you try to look for ways to encrypt the data or create, it's just chasing after a ghost. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Gusto ko lang tanong kasi maganda ma-express si Attorney Kicks. For our listeners na sabihin, ano ba yan? Ano ba yung de-anonymization? Ano ba yung
re-identification.
So Attorney Kicks, how do you explain the difference?
Okay. So yung anonymization, so kinuha mo yung data, tapos tinanggal mo lahat ng information that can be used to directly identify you.
Okay.
So pangalan, obviously. So any numbers, so government numbers, private numbers, phones, ganun. For some people, okay na yun. But for other people, pag binangga mo yung dataset na yun with another dataset and multiple datasets, dalawa kasi doesn't specify how many datasets ang limit bago mo ma-re-identify, bago mo mag-guess kung sino yun. And at some point, it becomes a guess. And at some point, given enough datasets, makikilala mo siya ulit. And pag nakilala mo na siya ulit, so lahat ng effort na ginawa mo para matanggal yung information in the first place, bagay wala. Because the law says, personal information siya ulit. So, yung whatever plan you had for that data, na without consent, without following data privacy rules, out the window.
Okay. So, halimbawa,
comment from Milson Chua, but identification is important for some applications like contact tracing to be able to potential.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, it might as well accept na you're going to have to deal with the data privacy rules and use that information the way it's supposed to be used. Imbis na naghahanap ka ng lusot na para di ka na makagawa ng bagay. Diba?
Okay, good. Balik natin yung Sige, iwan natin yan. Siguro, again, in future episodes, we can focus on healthcare. Invite tayo ng mga top 3 hospitals siguro that have really rolled out a great data privacy and cybersecurity program. Yan. Sa atin naman, sa page natin, okay, unang-una, Titos Manuel, thank you for your post, no? Stronger data privacy laws sought in proposed amendments. Again, kinuha ni Titos from privacy.gov.ph. We agree with that, Titos, and we're missing you. Dalawang episode ka nang wala. Siguro, papaalam kami sa misis mo para maka-join ka next Friday. Okay? And ito, ang ating suki sa NADPOP DPO Central, si Oliver Besa of States Interactive. They offer free webinars. Ito, may sila upcoming webinar. Yan, on ISO 27001. And then, yan, EDPA, that's a Singaporean law, di ba? BP sila, and then BBPR. Okay? So, Oliver, thank you for offering this to our members at NADPOP DPO Central. Yun ang updates natin ngayon, gentlemen. So, again, no, dami talagang kailangang harapin ng mga companies, no? So,
ang ISO 27701, ano yan the Philippines played a part in crafting that. So, medyo nag-send pa tayo ng delegation.
Kasama ka ba ng Attorney?
Mga tao ko dati under the Data Security and Technical Standards Division ng NPC.
Tapos may 02 na, di ba? There's 02 already. That's recently released. Si Abet, certified ka yan, di ba, Abet?
Hindi, 27001 yun. Bago to, that's Information Security Management Systems. Corollary, because there's data privacy, so it's privacy management systems.
So, ang 27701, that's 27001 plus 02 plus 03 plus.
The 27001 family.
So, pag nagpa-certify ka ng 27701 na lead, kukuha ka ng lead implementer na 27701, dapat marunong kang makiusap sa 27001 lead implementer. Kasi you cannot get the 27701 without 27001 certification.
Yan, maganda yan. Yeah. But ito, i-feature din nating roadmap, ano? Yung global standards roadmap in one of our episodes. Para makita nyo kung saan kayo pwedeng, where do you need to go? No? Kasi ito mga to, globally accepted to Saka it will help you to boost your market value. Di ba?
Para makuha natin yung mga sweldong Pinos kanina.
Oo.
200,000.
Kaya lang, medyo mahal yan, di ba? Kaya any training that you can get for free, please get it. No? Malaking tulong po yung mga trainings ito. Like the free webinar that Oliver offered to our members sa NADPOP DPO Central. Pati yata sa Privacy PH, pinost ni Oliver yan. No? Yung kanyang free training. At sa this is a form of training already, as we mentioned already. We're going to issue digital badges for our courses. And this can lead to soon-to-be launched NADPOP certification. Hindi yun yung tinuturo ni Attorney Kiko, but gold yun. Ito, silver certification yung makukuha nyo dito sa soon-to-be launched po. Hintayin po natin yan. Okay, may isang greeting pa. Okay, Jane Tamundong, one of our, regular magandang gabi. And then how do you do it? Best foot forward, political po, leadership.
Yan. Segue na yan. Segue na yata yan, Sam
Pinegway ko, sana lang hindi magkaroon. Hindi po ako magkakaroon ng live talk ngayon. Ito po isang recording, sinishare ko lang. But first time to be broadcasted po ng recording. Kinakwento ko nga the last episode na, yun, Attorney Kiko and I were invited by a telco company to talk about data privacy. I prepared for a 20-minute talk, pero yung pala, less than 5 minutes na yung kailangan ko. So, sayang naman, so I compressed it. Sabi ko, why don't we share it with you? It's about transformational leadership. In a nutshell po, the premise is that all of us need to be transformational leaders in our respective organizations because our respective organizations are undergoing digital and business transformation. So kailangan po lahat tayo, sumunod tayo sa ating CEO who should be the one leading the digital transformation, business transformation organizations. Yun lang ang premise yan.
Yan po ang segue para ipakilala natin ang susunod nating special guest.
Yung kakambal ko, yung aking kakambal.
Itago na natin sa pangalan Sam Jacoba.
Pasensya niyo pagka walang audio, paki-comment naman po kasi baka magkaroon kami ng technical problem dito. Otherwise, ikukwento ko na lang mamaya. Pero that's the gist of it. So ito po, pakinggan po natin ang aking older self. This was recorded a week ago.
Ano yung spiel ni Sam dito? Oh, paring Sam, paano yan? Kami naman ang mawawala muna, magkakape kami habang pinapanood namin ang presentation.
Yung recorded self ko, mag-present muna pero pwede tayong kumuha ng tubig. Naubusan na ako ng tubig.
Okay,
Hopefully po wala pong audio. Uy, ito. May invitation din. Oh, ayan, i-invite dito tayo ni Maricel. Hi, Maricel. For a talk with send an email. Sige po, any four of us po can deliver. Wag lang po how to be a showbiz personality. Si Abet de la Cruz lang po ang pwedeng mag-ano noon.
I-differ ko po yung sa kampal kong puppet. Magaling siya sa akin. Oh.
Okay, sige po, pahinga po muna kami. Ito po, Transformational Leadership in the Age of Digital and how businesses can anchor their digital transformation journeys on data privacy and cybersecurity. Ang haba po, pero yun po ang summary nito. Ito.
Okay. Take it away, Sam.
Yan. Yun eh.
So who are transformational leaders? Let's read this definition from Bass and Ridgio, authors of the book Transformational Leadership. They said that transformational leaders are those who stimulate and inspire followers to both achieve extraordinary outcomes and in the process develop their own leadership capacity. Transformational leaders help followers grow and develop into leaders by responding to individual followers' needs, by empowering them and by aligning the objectives and goals of the individual followers, the leader, the group, and the larger organization. Everyone, can you please type, I am a transformation leader, exclamation point. Okay. I believe that all of us here in this conference are transformational leaders. Thank you to those who have declared that they are transformational leaders. Now, the authors also stated that there are 4 dimensions of transformational leadership. Each of these have maturity levels depending on the leader, and you can develop them based on your drive or needs. Here are the 4 dimensions, beginning with idealized influence. These are leaders who are purpose-driven. They are also ideal role models, and essentially they walk the talk. These are very ethical leaders, and integrity, is their surname. The second dimension is inspirational motivation. Leaders inspire and they motivate people. At the same time, they renew them, especially during this time of crisis. Transformational leaders renew their people and they renew their organizations. The third one are individualized consideration. Okay? These leaders are people-driven. They have genuine concern for the needs of followers and they're authentic. What you see is what you get. They're the same if they're with you or if they're not with you. Okay? And the fourth dimension is intellectual stimulation. Transformational leaders continue to innovate. They also challenge their followers to be creative and innovative. Can you please type which of these 4 resonates with you the most? Are you an idealist influencer, an inspirational motivator, an individualized considerator, or an intellectual stimulator? Again, thank you for those who have declared, which among these 4 resonates well with them. Now, we're discussing this because the CEO, your CEOs, are the transformational leaders where above everyone else in your organization, but you need more than one transformational leader in your organization. Examples are, of course, the data protection officer and your chief information security officer. They should also be transformational leaders of your organization because not one person can carry this load of digital transformation, especially in this age of disruption and this age of digital. So please cultivate transformational leaders in your respective organizations. Let's now focus on how the pandemic has impacted the Philippines and what is the state of digital in the country. Drawing from the report of PR Social and Hootsuite to show that Philippines, with 110 million population, has 152 million mobile connections. We have more phones than we have people in the country. Also, we have 70.91 million Filipinos connected to the internet, comprising 67% of the population. This grew year on year by 6.1% from January 2020 to 21 to 4.2 million newly connected Filipinos to the internet. But the biggest growth happened in social media. The active social media users in the Philippines grew by 16 million for a growth rate of 21.9%. So you have now 89 million Filipinos on social media platforms. That's a big number. At the same time, that 16 million growth shows that there are newbies on social media platforms. So don't be surprised if there are a lot of scams happening, a lot of phishing, a lot of social engineering, a lot of people losing money, because of identity theft through the social media networks online. We're also number one in using the internet. Imagine almost 12 hours per day. Okay, almost 11 hours per day. It is almost twice the global average of 6 hours and 54 minutes. We're number one in using the internet. We're also number one in mobile video calls, again, primarily driven by calls between OFWs and their families. And we're also number one in consuming vlogs or video logs. 87.2% of our population watch these type of content every day. So please, if you want to engage your customers online, create more videos. We're also number one playing games. The main message here is that you should gamify also your content. Because Filipinos love playing games. 97.2% of Filipinos play video games online based on this report. The global average is only 86.1%. We're also third in e-commerce adoption with 86.2% of the population purchasing at least once a month online. We're only third next to Indonesia and the United Kingdom. And of these, 61% are done through mobile devices. So our host is actually happy that this is happening. They're helping us, to purchase our needs, especially during this pandemic. And we bring our mobile devices wherever we are, right? We bring them to our, take a shower, bring them when we go out, even when we sleep, or we eat. We have our mobile devices with us. And here are the top categories of what Filipinos buy online. Again, the biggest bulk is in travel, mobility, and accommodation in terms of dollar value, followed by video games. And again, a lot of Filipinos want to entertain themselves, especially during this pandemic. Okay, other growth areas, electronics and physical media. We love gadgets and devices. And of course, appliance and furniture. There's a lot. Let's see how the pandemic has hit these categories. The biggest decline happened, of course, actually the only decline happened in the tourism sector, where travel, mobility, and accommodation declined by 43.8%. This is the direct impact of the pandemic and the lockdowns. Meanwhile, the highest growth happened in food and personal care at 64.3%. Filipinos love to eat. My adobo is better than your adobo. It's like a common term right now, right? We also love to take care of ourselves. That's why personal care also, which is part of this category group. Again, the other high growth areas, toys, do-it-yourself and hobbies, furniture and appliances, of course, and electronics and physical media, digital music. So all of these actually meant to help us to cope with the pandemic. Okay, we should also not be surprised that the Philippines is the social media capital of the world, because we're number one worldwide at 4 hours and 15 minutes each day. With this average time that we spent on social media compared to the global average of only 2 hours and 25 minutes. So again, we can claim this title. And this is how we spend our day on social media and well-connected online. Okay, so we spent watching television too. We still watch television, but it's through broadcast and streaming, or something simultaneously with our devices. We also spend a lot of time listening to music services. And of course, using our game console and then reading news online. That means all of this, Filipinos are still concerned. Actually, the concern is growing that their personal data is being misused online. So with 34.6% awareness on this, it's above the global average of 33.1%. And here are the concerns of Filipinos. Beginning with at the center, Filipinos are concerned with how the companies use their personal data. And my colleagues, the next speakers, or my colleagues are also going to emphasize this, that those of us who collect personal information should protect them. Okay. Other concerns include use of cookies. Filipinos have deleted cookies. And also use some form of ad blocking. The next update of iOS coming up, it will allow us to block the tracking being done by apps on our online activities. And of course, 57% express concern about fake news on the internet. And then another concern is, of course, track screen time or setting time limits for some apps that we use. Some realization: Filipinos are the most connected worldwide. We consume a lot of content, we also create them, we buy a lot online, but we're very, very vulnerable. Okay, let's take a look now at the World Bank. And this is a report that they released last September 2020. It's a roadmap for the country's digital transformation. Okay, the report says that going digital will help the country bounce back faster from the impact of the pandemic. If we go digital, they say we'll become more economically competitive. Okay, we'll become more resilient, and of course, due to that, inclusive growth will be delivered to the rest of the population. Right now, a lot of Filipinos are actually having a hard time putting food on their table. That's why you see movements like the community pantry, helping out. Okay, the report further says, though, that there are challenges that we have to hurdle as a country. We have one of the highest internet costs, again, comparing ourselves with our Asian neighbors. We have high internet costs. We have very slow internet speed. Average is around 16.77 Mbps compared to the global average of 32 Mbps. This is already improving now thanks to the DICT with their infrastructure projects. Okay. We also have low broadband penetration, again, compared to our Asian neighbors. So what do we have to do about this? According to the World Bank, we need to upgrade our digital infrastructure to increase our digital adoption and also to promote digital payments. The sister company of our host is able to tally 1 trillion worth of transactions on their platform last year. Very significant growth. And also we need to reduce logistics costs. During the pandemic, if this stays on until 2022 or 2023, the cost of logistics should go down, because we'll continue to get deliveries, we'll continue to order online, and this will, again, because of that convenience, logistics has been improved. And all of these, we need to foster a more competitive business environment. Okay, the report also prescribes a framework for digital transformation called CHIP. The CHIP stands for Connect, that's in connecting everyone to participate, in the digital economy, harnessing and enabling the old economy to become digital, or portions of it that can be one, and of course, innovating while doing that by expanding the digital economy, okay, alongside the old economy. And amidst all of this, the P stands for protect. We need to protect everyone from the risk posed by going online. Okay, so CHIP: connect, harness, innovate, and protect. Okay, now that we've seen the big picture of the Philippines, let's now zoom in on the transformational leadership imperatives that you can bring to your respective organizations. Are you ready? Okay, you can please type "I am ready" if you are. Okay, I'm going to wait for it. Okay, thank you very much for those who says that I'm ready. Thumbs up to you. Okay, the first imperative is that transformational leaders need to be hyper-focused on people. This means being passionate to continuously educate, train, and enable all personnel and stakeholders in your organizations. Now, there are two types of people you should focus on. Of course, internal staff and employees. Okay, we should partner with our HR leaders for us to do this. And extended or external staff. It's very important that you include them in your digital transformation journey, as they also play a critical role alongside your employees. My colleague Tito Sundal is going to share with you how you can help people in your organization thrive in this digital age. And as transformational leaders, we should ask it every day. Are we hyper-focused on people? Okay, please raise your hands if you're doing this, or you will begin to do this onwards. And always ask this question every day. Am I hyper-focused on people? Again, thank you to those who raised their hands. Secondly, as transformational leaders, we should unceasingly update our current businesses, processes, and integrate those that emerged from the pandemic. It's critical that we strengthen them, especially with the higher incidences of hacking happening nowadays. Again, my colleague My colleagues, Attorney Kiko Acero and Avid Rose, are going to talk about this later in their talks. So there are two types of ecosystems that we need to strengthen. Our own core ecosystem. These are the business processes that we control. And of course, our extended ecosystems. These are those ecosystems that we connect with. For example, your HR connects to HMOs. They also connect to SSS, Pag-ibig and other government agencies. Your finance connects with the BIR. For example, if you're a bank, you connect with the central bank, or sometimes you connect with each other for inter-bank transactions. Okay? Again, we need to strengthen these because they also pose a risk to our ecosystem. Okay, here's one of the direct impacts of pandemic in our ecosystem. Our footprint has expanded because of the pandemic. And you know where it went, right? We've seen the emergence or the rise of the digital home because our employees now work from home and their students study from home. That's why we need to secure the digital home because they don't have the same robust infrastructures we have in our offices, right? So this is an imperative that we should, consider doing immediately, securing our employees' homes. Again, going back as transformational leaders, do we unceasingly strengthen our business and digital ecosystem? Okay, can you please send over a smile if you do this every day? Okay, thank you for your smiles. Third and last, as transformational leaders, we should always look for opportunities to innovate at every step of our digital transformation journey. Driving consistent innovation is at the heart of every transformational leader. And there are two types of innovation. The first one, of course, is in-house innovation. In our experience, the best innovations happen, inside your own organizations. And of course, you have partner-driven innovation. Sometimes you will need external providers to help you to innovate, within your transformation journeys. So this is the third question we should ask ourselves as transformational leaders. How do we drive constant and consistent innovation? Okay, we send a heart if you wish to do this every day. You can do double hearts if you like. Okay. Again, thank you to those who sent their hearts, and ask this question every day. Now, the fourth industrial revolution is here. Some call it I4R or I 4.0, but now more than ever, we need to lead our organizations through this digital transformation journey. Let me share with you the study done by Salesforce.com on the technologies that impact the expectations of customers on companies. These are the technologies that they say build trust. Okay, at the top are cybersecurity and artificial intelligence, followed by Internet of Things and cloud computing, and so on and so forth. Please encourage your CIO to explore these technologies in your respective organizations so that you'll be able to build trust with your customers. If they see you doing this and you comply with the Data Privacy Act of 2012, then they will see that you are serious in protecting their personal information. And to summarize, transformational leaders are hyper-focused on people and also strengthens their business and digital ecosystems day in and day out. The third, transformational leaders drive constant and consistent innovation. One more thing before I end, please allow me to introduce NADPOP, or the National Association of Data Protection Officers of the Philippines, to you. It is the first time that you're hearing about our organization. We're formed in 2018 and we're the Philippines' first data privacy and cybersecurity organization, and this is our why. Our vision is to transform the Philippines into a global center of excellence for data privacy and security. Now, how are we going to do this? Our mission is to inspire, prosper, and empower thousands and thousands of TPOs to become world-class privacy and security professionals. Similarly, I also like to inspire, prosper, and empower your organizations so that you can become a world-class privacy and security organization. We also have our own transformational leadership framework, and we call it the Data Privacy Competency Framework, developed for us by one of our senior advisors, Dr. Emmanuel Aliana. It has 8 core competencies: information privacy, privacy law, ICT, risk management, organizational ecosystem, capacity building, leadership, and ethics. So among these 8, this is how we deliver value to our members. And those of you who would want to enroll in NADPOP Academy, which is our primary training program. Our flagship course, which actually maps with the competency framework, is called DPO Foundations 1. Again, created by former Deputy Commissioner Don Dimapa, who's also our senior advisor. Our trainers include Attorney Ivy Patdu, also a former Deputy Commissioner of the National Privacy Commission, and Attorney Kiko Acero, our certified trainer for NADPOP, and Attorney GP Hernandez. It's a 3.5-day course, and once you take it and pass it, you can get certified. You can become a data privacy specialist. And it doesn't end there. We have a roadmap. So there's foundations 2 and 3, which will certify to become a data privacy professional and a data privacy expert. You can also aspire to become a data privacy trainer, 4 stars, and a data privacy master trainer. So let's partner together, and we can build a global center of excellence for data privacy cybersecurity in your organization within your digital transformation journey. Please send me email at sam@nadpop.org so we can begin our discussion. So once again, thank you and best wishes on your digital transformation journey and your personal journey to become a transformational leader. Okay, thank you again, and back to you, Sonja. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks.
Okay, so that was my older self, everyone. I hope that dito, Attorney Kiko, yan. Hindi ko narinig yung sarili ko eh. Oy, let's add to the stream. This is Arnie Barcelo. Magandang gabi.
Nakahabol. Yay!
Oh, yan. Pasensyahan nyo na yung aking older self, ha. Yung mga...
Sam, mas pogi pa rin yung kambal mo kaysa sa'yo.
Sabi na. Ganun talaga, pagka-recorded. Naka-retouch yun eh. Again, yun yung premise. I mentioned it already before the recorded talk. No? So, premiere po yan. Hindi pa namin yung so, that was the premiere of that video. In the future po, kasi mahirap yung signal, we'd rather record it for your own benefit. Again, transformational leadership. All of us are transformational leaders. And those who are watching this are also being transformed. Salamat po. So ko lang, baka makalimutan ko. Again, Jason Jose, maraming salamat. And tinag niya si Melcy Salom. So thank you for being here with us. Hi Melcy and Jason. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, reaction naman, mga fellow hosts ng Privacy Fighting. Recorded din ba yung reaction niyo?
Hindi, pero diba, yan ang lagi natin pinipreach sa ating culture of a privacy culture. You need to build up a privacy culture. You need to build up a culture of compliance. And normally sa companies na wala pang ganong focus sa integrity, you need to be the transformational agent doon.
Ganun talaga. Nagugutom na ako. Kanina yung sabi.
Okay, Sam, yung yung segue na sa presentation ko, di ba? Last week about yung sa leadership nga, what leaders can do. Swak na swak din yun eh. Those are the things that you can do. Tapos, gamitan mo ng transformational approach, di ba? To build that culture of security and privacy.
Kaya nga sinundan natin ng transformational leadership dito eh. Kailangan talaga and ideally, especially for MSMEs, it's the CEO or the business owner or the general manager who should be the transformational leader. And kung pinag-usapan natin, without your support, hindi po mamayagpag yung data protection officer or yung CEO nyo. Kailangan po talaga supportahan ng ang number one guy in the company. Otherwise, wala pong mangyayari talaga. So Arnie, kumusta? Anong reaction mo sa lahat? Huwag na sa talk ko, pati iba namin pinag-usapan. Baka meron akong gustong i-share. So.
Okay, hi! Ang saya pala makinig. Ang saya, nakakatuwa. Avid fan, no? Nakakatuwa gawing hobby talaga yung Privacy Fridays. Anyway, malapit sa akin ang leadership, lalo na pag transformational leadership. So I am writing also a paper on transforming university education through transformational learning. So magkalapit yun, lalo na ngayong pandemic, no? Yung post-pandemic, kailangan mo ng transformational leaders. Pero what I read, and yung isang nagustuhan ko sa yung presentation, yung CHIP framework, that is new to me, no? Medyo bago sa akin yun. So magandang i-explore yung framework na yun para gamitin for digital transformation. So ano nga ulit yun? CHIP. So
harness, and then innovate, and then of course yung P, yung protect. So yun yung
protect, yeah.
Ang ganda ng study niyan, sis. I'll forward you the link to the study. Ang sarap pasahin.
Yes, yes. Pero sabi, for it to be transformational, kailangan siya authentic, active, and empowering. So there are 7 factors sa learning naman. Sa transformational leadership in learning, may 7 factors. Ang maganda doon, ang magandang tingnan, it's for the people and with the people. So para siya masabing transformational. So magandang explore yung CHIP framework for the digital transformation. Halos lahat ngayon, kahit anong industry or anong space, nandun na, no, sa digital transformation. So it's good na explore natin yan, yung CHIP framework. Yeah, as usual, lagi pa rin, natututo pa rin ako sa mga sessions natin. And from the backstage, nakikinig ako, marami pa rin akong natutunan. So, yes, that's for me. That's my recitation for today's, for this.
Thank you, Professor Arnie. Kota na.
May score na ba ako, sir? Rate mo ako eh.
Exceptional.
Okay. Magsusulat po ako tungkol dyan, transformational leadership on data privacy. Maganda siyang isulat. Using CHIP framework.
Galing. Sige po. Abet, ikaw naman.
Nung narinig yung chip, si Eric Estrada naisip ko.
Ano yan? Na makaka-relate ba ako dyan? Sino yun?
Hindi ka makaka-relate dito.
Imported hagad sila. Mga hagad sila.
Yeah.
You're revealing your age.
Pero
Ano
yun,
mo sabi sa dapat hindi raw nagre-reveal ng mga nababagay lang sa'yo, na nakaka-relate lang kayo. Kailangan lahat.
Hindi naman totally reveal yan. Ano yun? De-identification. Actually, some, yun nga there's a lot of learnings in what you just presented. It's really listed down, but some of the challenges, I think yung maybe boils down to sa taong mag-represent the personality that's going to do that, kasi it's a little bit challenging. Siguro merong a little bit of marketing or convincing involved. Because as you know, it's something new, and everything that's new, change is hard. So I guess siguro, again, kamukha nung ask ko kay Sir Lito last time, di ba? Kailangan natin ng mga practical tips and tricks on how to do that. So, yeah. Nakuha niyo na po ang email ni Sam. Alam niyo na kung ano mga itatanong sa kanya. Paano ba gagawin yun, Sam? How will I introduce such a culture, tama si Attorney Kicks, into an organization? Yeah.
It's always, in my belief, it's always the leader that sets the tone and sets the culture. Yung leader nyo, well, again, pag ethical yung leader nyo, it will trickle down. So everything that you do will be ethical. Kung may integrity yung leader nyo, yan. Again, so, marami talaga. Again, napakahalaga talaga ng leader. In any organization, because siya yung he sets the direction. Siya din yung conductor, kung ano yung, okay, dito tayo, etc. Ang dami yun. Siya rin yung driver ng bus, if you want the bus analogy. So, without the leader, talagang magkakalat tayo. So, and magiging kulelat. Sorry for that. So, kaya dapat, yung leader, marami namang framework pero ito ang sinabi sa transformation leadership na he should inspire, he should be individualistic. Ito, Abet, paborito mo yung sa 4, stimulates intellectual, intellectual stimulation and creativity. So, gusto mo yung term na yun, di ba?
may term dyan, pero off the air ko na lang sasabihin sa'yo. Baka ma-sensor ako.
Saka maano ka, si Professor Barcelo, ha? So dapat...
Oo, papagalitan ako ni Arnie. Namumura na ako eh. Namumura na, isa na lang, kick out na ako eh.
Hindi. Actually, Abet, may yung tanong mo kanina, yung how will you start or how will you do it, yung to build the culture. Parang may na-discover ako na I've been asking that question also, no? Paano nga ba yun? No? Kasi laging na po-point out or sinasabi ng mga nagiging nakakausap ko rin from the industry. Tinuturo nila lagi yung may something is missing in the education. No? May mali sa kultura ng education. So, lagi kong tinatanong yun, paano kaya ako makakapag-build ng culture? And then, just recently, na yung pandemic, nakuha ko yung sagot and then I was able to experience it. It is with the framework talaga. Kasi it's so hard to campaign a culture. Mahirap i-build yon. But with the proven framework, nababagay dun sa situation, you can build a culture without your knowing. Kasi you have to communicate the framework that you will use. Paano kayo mag-uusap? So communication. And then kailangan may synergy, synchronize kayo dun sa framework na yon. And then without your knowing, na-build mo na yung culture. Kasi may isa kayong sinusundan. And ang impact, it's so transformational talaga siya. Kasi parang naging personalized siya kasi nag-contribute ka using that framework kasi you are valuable. Yun ang pinapakita sa framework. May role ka doon, may contribution ka doon. Kasi yun ang sinusundan mo eh. So medyo naging personalized. And then naging empowering siya. So merong ownership. So pag lahat kayo may ganong pakiramdam, ganong experience, without your knowing talaga, you have built parang you're able to build a strong culture niya. At you will not find a hard time pa campaigning like data privacy, cybersecurity, or excellence. Yeah, I think that's the shortcut. You look for a strong system or a very good framework, yun ang pag-usapan nyo, araw-araw yun ang gawin nyo, no? So, that is very magical. For me, ang galing. So, that's the answer to that. Use a framework na yun ang gagawin nyo as one. Dapat collective yun. Pag hindi, walang culture.
Yeah, correct. Magkakalat, no? So, kayo do it, Abet, one person at a time, eh. Ganun naman sa leadership. Sure, you can have your town hall meetings, di ba, nandun lahat. Pero ako, gusto ko yun na yung before, di ba, yung sa ating former company, one-on-one mo with your direct manager, napakalaga niya. And then, pati even yung, kahit tumalon ka, di ba, halimbawa, hindi ka direct report ng general manager. Pag yung general manager mo, nakapag-one on, kahit nakakapi lang, di ba, or di ba, dito isang 30 minutes yung meeting na mahaba, or even 15 minutes, malaking bagay yun talaga. Yung connecting, if you really also use CHIP is actually a transformation framework. A leader should connect, di ba, to his people, di ba? And then he should harness their capabilities and then innovate together and then protect them. So yung CHIP is also a transformational framework for a person, di ba, and an organization. Hindi lang siya for a country. Kasi yung ginawa ng World Bank for the Philippines yun eh. But it can also be applied to individual companies and to us.
Yes. It starts with the mindset. Magandang explore yung agile mindset. Lalo na yung pandemic. Yeah, magandang gawin yun. Explore mo yun, Sam, and then with your long sleeves. Naka-long sleeves.
Galing recording eh. Shoutout lang pala. I was able to meet with my fellow, yung sa ASEAN, Cloud Security Alliance Philippines.
Yeah. Oo nga pala. 100% pala kayo kanina.
The recording din kami kanina kasi the conference will be next week. Again, we're going to invite. So we discussed yung sa ASEAN data privacy situation. Would you believe sa Malaysia pala, hindi pala kasama yung government sa data privacy?
Yeah, hindi. Hindi siya kasama.
Yeah.
Napaka-weak.
Grabe. So nag-complain yung Malaysian counterpart ko sa Cloud Security Alliance. Sabi dito kasama sa Malaysia, yung government is collects. So,
exempted, Attorney Hicks?
Yeah, hindi siya kasama sa law at all. So do as I say, not as I do sila.
Correct. Sa Indonesia pala, actually, meron din sila ng pwedeng jail terms eh. Pero minention ng aking sa even Thailand, yung dalawa na yun, they mentioned. Singapore naman, they're actually mapping it sa GDPR. Kasi halos copyhin daw nila yung GDPR. Kinakat and paste na nila dun sa kanilang ano.
Kasi they figured out maging sinundan nilang framework.
Mm.
So, ang tama lang sa kanila was, they said, we're going to remap every couple years. So, ito, may first remapping na sila. To think na, di ba, first, mas una tayo sa kanila by months.
Yeah.
Correct. And kaya lang, they had a big healthcare data breach, di ba? Na dalawa yun eh. First, yung National Health Database nila, tapos yung AIDS database, no, na includes nationalities. Kaya medyo, knowing Singapore, ayaw nila lang ganun eh. But yet, ang taas na nila sa ranking, di ba? When we discussed it initially, they're number in
kasi ano sila, mas active sila mag-fine. So, ang dami nilang decisions on fines, which is why we're now moving in that direction na fines na rin. Kasi direction from the privacy authority can say, definitely, ito nagkamali ka, therefore, may problema ka, therefore.
Hindi lang pala bubble gum saka splitting ang fines sa Singapore. So, talaga sa data privacy.
It's a fine city.
Meron tayong question dito from Maricel. So, ito magandang question. Yan. In terms of monetary investment on the competencies of your DPOs, how much will the company invest on it? Because I saw different course programs, assembled skill set that have a great impact on definitely Maricel. Opo. So, ayun, paki-email po ako or email at privacy@nadpop.org. Yung partners po natin, merong upcoming trainings na mura. Si Attorney Kiko po ang ating instructor. Siya po ang mentor and mentor.
Mentor. Ang masasabi ko dyan is more, aside from the trainings, invest in people. Kasi you can just train and treat it like a revolving chair. Pero the important thing is you have someone there who grows with the organization. And then you have people to support that person. That's just as important as the training you get.
I second that. Kaya inuna ko yung focus on people. That's my first
yes.
Talaga.
Pero reality challenge din yan Parang ang long experience handling people, recruitment, retention, etc. Yung retention ng tao ngayon, ng employees, is shorter compared to previous years. Maswerte ka na if your employee or your staff stays with you for 18 months, 2 years, mahaba na yung 3 years sa ngayon. Kasi masyadong magalaw ngayon ang ang industries.
Yeah. But everyone's facing the challenge dito eh. Pare-pareho naman yung challenge yung di ba? So, yan, continuous training talaga, continuous training. And then yung retention nga. How do you now make sure that they don't leave your company or they leave the country, di ba? So we're competing against other companies worldwide. Hinahirap talaga.
Lalo na ngayon, in the age of certification, ang dami, kumukuha, certify, pero walang operational experience. No? So kung walang operational experience, bali wala yung certification kasi hindi mo ma-demonstrate yung kakayanan mo.
Correct. Maganda na yung portfolio, di ba? Yung portfolio ng ng cybersecurity or data privacy expert, no? Show me your portfolio other than your certification.
Yeah.
At some point, the certification should be other people telling you that you know what you know.
Yeah.
Diba, may
Attorney Kiko. Explain further.
Elaborate daw.
Kasi sa certification.
Certification, okay. To get in, the certification is just the first step. Like NADPOP certification, that's just the first step. That teaches you the basics. And then you get operational experience. And then you figure out what your privacy journey is. Your next certifications after that are other people telling you na yes, alam mo nga ang alam mo. Not the other way around. Now you're not taking it to gain knowledge, but you're taking it because this is the knowledge that you have, tas ibabangga mo siya with best practices, and you either affirm or change, and then get certified na, yes, I now, other people do understand that I know what I know.
Yeah, okay. Agree, no? May peer validation. May validation after training.
Yeah.
That's good, that's good.
Or
Link yung learning, di ba?
in terms, kaya mabenta si Sam tsaka si Lito tsaka ako. Kasi may tenure, experience. Yun yung hindi mo makikita sa certification. Diba? So, share ko lang, no, for example, other certifications ang ginagawa nila. So, ito yung XYZ certification. Pero they require you a certain number of years of experience bago mo ma-attain yung certification na yun.
Yeah.
So, pwede ka kumuha na exam. No? You get the paper certification, but they will say you're an associate XYZ. Hihintayin ka nila until you have that 3 years or X number of years experience before you can get yung actual certification. So they put a premium on the experience side.
Yes, ako, I am an avid fan or embracer ako ng certifications. Kasi bago ako magturo ng isang subject, I push myself na mag-certify talaga. So, ang nakukuha akong skills doon, yung pag-aaral, yung the confidence na maybe I can teach this subject na. Pero hinahanap ko talaga yung immersion, yung experience ko. Kaya that is one thing missing sa model naman ng sa education, no? Kasi ang certification sa academe ay hindi gaano siyang na-appreciate. Talagang it's really by degree or rank, no? So PhD, mga ganun siya. Pero if you know the value nung yung feedback from the industry, talagang gusto mo rin magpa-certify. So that's what I do, no? So kasi sabi ko nga about leadership din sa education, no? So what keeps you smiling sa teaching, what keeps you in that profession, it's really the student. Pero but what validates me kung tama yung ginagawa ko are my friends like you na Arnie, ganito ang gawin mo. So it's really from the industry that validates yung ginagawa mo and certification. Kaya maganda nga, no? May model ka from the certification then validated by your peers. At saka yung years of experience. So, magandang i-push din yan, no? So, Pero okay din magpa-certify kasi napipilitan ka mag-aral.
Pag na-exam, lalo pag na-exam.
Depende, meron kasi talagang certification mills.
Okay. Parang diploma mill, no?
Maraming ganyan sa InfoSec. Gagaranti na 100% passing. Yung pala, during the exam, tinuturo yung sagot. Mga ganun. Diba? So it totally defeats the purpose na magkaroon ka ng baseline knowledge which will be represented ng certification mo. So, choosing the right certification or the right organization to give the certification is also a factor. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you po.
Dapat yung companies don't expect too much. For example, kung pinag-training mo lang ang DPO mo ng 3 days and then pinag-exam that he will do all of the work, that's just a starting point. Marami pa siyang dapat matutunan. For example, una-una, di ba, yung influencing without authority. Kung mid-level lang po yung DPO nyo, paano nyo mapapagalaw yung mga higher level sa kanya ng mga business units na sandamakmak yung kanilang mga data na kino-collect, di ba? So marami pong dynamics yan. Hindi lang po yung hindi po the silver bullet yung certification we're telling you. Based on our
agree ako, Sam. Kaya nga maybe in one of our services sa NADPOP, kailangan mag-extend tayo. Aside from the training and education, extend natin sila na mag-immerse sila in one of the companies na meron tayong network. Kasi sabi ko nga talaga, experience talaga yan. Experience talaga yan. So hindi siya lang pwede na nagturo tayo 1 day, 3 day training. Hindi. Pag bigyan mo na sila ng project, isang sample project, hirap na siya. So I think we need to support them also by connecting them also in our network ng mag-practice, no?
As we speak nga, we're actually to improve talagang tinitingnan natin kasi hindi na enough yung 3.5 days training. Hindi na siya enough talaga. Kasi nga nakikita natin, mahirap talagang implement yung operational compliance. Paper, yes, madali. May checklist ka, di ba? May mga templates ka, boom, tapos na yan. But yung really operational compliance, that's the toughest thing to do. Pinakamahirap.
Tsaka Hindi, tsaka yung role ng DPO or Information Security Officer. Multiple competencies ang kailangan mo dyan. No? Multiple skills. So for example, yun nga, lagi ko sinasabi, nag-uumpisa yan sa, sinasabi nga kasi PIA, no, Privacy Impact Assessment o Business Impact Assessment. Okay? Ang puno niyan, risk management. So kailangan may background ka rin sa risk management in order for you to do your PIA or your BIA. Di ba? Tapos, yun nga, yung lagi ko sinasabi, I have yung mga 4 C's, you know? 4 C's is communication, cooperation, collaboration, and coordination. Yan, lagi ko rin ina-emphasize yan sa leadership.
And common sense. Common sense.
Which is not so common.
Yes.
Saka isip ko, change management dito, isa pa yun. Di ba? So as transformation leaders, you need to be able to manage change. Ang dami talaga, kaya nga we have that competency framework. Alam ko kulang pa yon yung 8 ng NADPOP. And then pag binangga natin sa InfoSec competency framework, it's more than that eh. But at least yun, leadership, ethics, di ba? Organizational development or ecosystem.
Saka basta yung core, ma-identify yung core, we've identified yung core competencies, then you can expand from there.
Yeah, correct. Actually, tinutumbok natin siya ngayon dito sa ating Privacy Fridays. Kaya leadership is one of the competencies. So we had 2 sessions on leadership already. Information privacy, definitely. Yan, very heavy tayo doon. Saka ICT. Yeah. Yun, so tinutumbok po natin dito. Yun, meron po tayong sinusundan na roadmap dito sa Privacy Fridays sa Cybersecurity. May framework po tayo. Hindi nyo lang siya nakikita ngayon, pero po nilalatag po natin siya unti-unti. And ganito po, bite-size talaga, and may discussion, may konting comedy, konting drama para na maaliw naman kayo.
Na-miss ko yung dramatization ni Abet at saka ni Arnie.
Oo nga, wala kaming extra ngayon.
Wala pa yung comics. Hindi natin balikan yung unang episode nila, yung unang comic series, kung gusto nyo, for the next episode. Speaking of the next episode, si Abet may imbitahin na cybersecurity professional. Sana makuha natin siya. Based in the US ba, Abet? Na Pinoy?
Yes, magaling.
Yeah,
he wanted to give something back from the guys back home, you know.
Yeah. Kinontak mo na. Abet. Time zone, time zone problem kung nasa US siya.
Correct. Sige.
Kasi kung 6 p.m. tayo, kung nasa East Coast yan, 6 a.m. yun. So, kung nasa West Coast, 3 a.m. yun. Kawawa naman, no?
Ang hirap, pagka nasa time zones.
Saan sila naka-base yung in-invite ko na cybersecurity expert na Pinoy? Saka ang laki yung sweldo niya, nasa US yan, di ba?
Oo, tsaka meron din siyang show, nakita ko yung mga guests niya, titindi. So at least, we'll get an idea kung, parang immersion, no? How do you do it there? Kasi it's part of a big security organization, and they espouse yung outsource CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, which is a topic or a concept that could take off. Actually, there it does already. Dito sa atin, hindi pa So baka yun, ma-explore natin.
The NPC allows you to have 2, di ba? Attorney Kiko, maximum. If you're a DPO, you can be DPO of 2 companies, maximum.
Yes.
So, pwede mag-work. Kaya lang kung ganun as a service or as an outsource, hanggang 2 ka lang.
Pero ang problema nila is yung...
Hindi siya hard and fast rule.
Yes, Attorney Kiko.
Pero,
hindi siya hard and fast rule na hanggang 2 ka lang. Pero physically, just the demands na yung attention span mo, di mo makakayanan yung more than 2 na wala kang dinadrop.
Mahirap. Right. Mahirap. Hindi, pero yun din ang challenge dyan kasi yung culture natin, yung sa business culture, business organizations, mas preferred nila na yung full-time. Part ka ng regular force. Yun ang gusto nila. So, kahit nga yung managed security services, yung outsourcing services, medyo challenge na mag-take off yan eh. Kasi nga yung kultura sa mga businesses, mas gusto nila na
full-time yung loyalty. Yan, yung loyalty mo din kasi doon nakikita. Mahirap, data privacy pa, ikot-ikot ka.
Kasi
Don't
yung,
trust you din. We don't trust someone from the outside, di ba? Gusto nila nandun within the confines of the organization. Marami siguro factors.
There will be a tipping point, Sam. Kasi di ba, we were discussing, ang bilis na ng attrition, ang taas na ng turnover, di ba? When it comes to a point na, should I raise someone that I think would probably stay for a couple of months to a year? Tapos kung gusto niya magtamad, pwede siya magtamad kasi full-time siya. Whereas I could get outsourced na every time na hindi ako kontento, I could get rebates, di ba? There's a legal document that states all of the deliverables. If you think about it, di ba? That point will come. So, magiging viable definitely yung outsource services as an option.
Yeah, dahil sa service level agreement, no?
Correct. Unless maglagay ka ng part ng contract na employee, may service level agreement.
Pwede.
Pwede rin.
Sa performance naman yan.
Legal
Performance at saka
KPIs.
expectation setting.
Legal ba yun?
Legal yung attorney.
lalo na pag ganyan, management ka, napakababaw na ng dahilan para matanggal ka eh. So the accountability should be there.
Oh, definitely. Pero yan, again, worth exploring. Marami na nag-offer ng privacy as a service, di ba? Ayun na, security as a service, SaaS, etc. Pero it can be a hybrid model. Oh, i-outsource mo pareho eh. But yun nga, the law says na yan. Well, ang alam ko mo, maximum of 2. Kasi it was asked by Dondi. Actually, tinanong kay Dondi, he mentioned nga. Yung dalawa.
That's just the physical limits of the person.
Correct.
Ayan, kung kailangan nyo ng paas sa kakaas, so you can contact any one of us. Yan, so. Shameless plug. Private service sa kakaas. Okay, 1 hour, 41 minutes. Thank you again, everyone. So, itong ating 6th episode. Lucky 7th tayo, official. Pero technically, this is our 9th episode kasi we had 3 episodes. So, makakasampu na tayo next week. Yun. Again, final words. Again, any topic, on transformational leadership or even, yung ating number 1 topic. Gusto ko yung first natin yung index ng Philippines, where we are in cybersecurity. So, naman tayo? Ladies first, sis, since nakahabol ka.
Ayun. Yes. Lagi pa rin natin sila ini-invite na makinig sa Privacy Fridays kasi sabi nga natin, we make it easy and very convenient for you para matuto at para mag-comply sa the data privacy. And yes, so what I realized sa pakikinig ko kay Sam na it's not for me as teacher, as professor, ang dami pa namin kailangan gawin, no? So kasi for us to develop leaders, kailangan namin tumambling. Kasi laging tinuturo may kulang sa education, may kulang sa university para makapag-provide kami ng knowledge worker, no, sa industry. So
na-affectuhan pa ba ng World Bank report?
Yeah, personally, kailangan nating mag-benchmark at kailangan yung tinuturo din sa university kung ano ang kailangan sa industry, no? Just like cybersecurity and data privacy. So, I just hope that those who are listening sa academia ay mailagay nila ito sa pipeline. Maging priority ang cybersecurity and data privacy sa curriculum and sa practice and as a culture. Yan. So, ayun, thank you sa team. Kanina nakikinig lang ako pero tuwang-tuwa ako kasi as part of the audience, mas natututo ako, no? So, masaya kayong panoorin. So, hanggang sa muli sa mga ka-NADPOP, sa mga ka-BounceBack at sa mga ka-PH-CERT, magkita-kita po tayo ulit sa Friday. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Arnie. Salamat po. Okay, from beauty to naman tayo? To the godfather of cybersecurity, Lita of the
May magko-contest dyan. Meron tayong katapat na privacy din. Or say cybersecurity.
Ikaw ang Don Vito of the
Hindi, well, yun nga, yung sinabi ko kanina, nakasegue tayo no, from last week's topic on leadership, what leaders can do. And ito nga, yung approach naman, yung transformational leadership, it's important nga na to create the culture within the organization. Depende sa building a culture within the organization is dependent so much on the leader. Okay? Pero talagang marami pang kailangan gawin because there's a lot of challenges. Technology evolves and the cyber attacks and are evolving as well. No? So marami pa tayong challenges na kinakaharap. So I think we'll be discussing more of that yung future developments in the industry. Yun lang.
Okay. Dito sino ang gusto mong sumunod sa'yo? Si Attorney Kiko o si Abet?
Abet na muna.
Yan, sinagot ni Kicks.
Actually, kanina rin, naisip ko lang kasi on part of the question. Yes, no, if you're the leader, you should be the example of everybody adopt yung transformational leadership. But sometimes, like for example, by experience, you're maybe mid or high management, tapos your leader doesn't have the same philosophy as you have. So anong, di ba, parang, what can I do? And then I thought, well, the best thing is actually to start with yourself. Kung ano yung sphere of influence mo na pwede mong magawa and set an example, then you focus on that. Sometimes, and the old adage really holds true, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. No? Totoo talaga yung minsan. So minsan talagang culture embedded na or matagal nang ginagawa, hirap baguhin. Then practice it at least on your own sphere of influence or circle that you can control and adopt that at least for the future generation. Magkaroon sila ng idea on how to do it. And I'm gonna segue balik dun sa index. Organizational measure natin is 11.85 over 20. so that means
Bayan.
Kaya nga tama do sa this is a direct factor yung organizational competency as well.
Seryoso yan, ha? Seryoso si Abet. May lalim.
Hugot talaga, no? And from Attorney Kiko, yun yan, ha? Si Attorney Kiko.
Know thyself. Know thyself.
Yeah. No, leadership is so important when it comes to privacy. And you cannot get anywhere changing culture unless you start with tone from the top, and then you have integrity, and then you follow through, and you be the change you want to become. And then people follow. And then in your sphere of influence, sabi nga ni Sir Abet, within your sphere of influence, you create that change because you provide proof of concept that your leadership works, that your philosophies work. And when you empower people, you lead from behind, you be vulnerable, all that, everything follows. And that's such a big part of, yun na nga, di ba, yung ginawa ni Sir Boying, ni Doc Boying Lagana, part of our competency framework kasama yung leadership. Napaka-important yan.
Thank you.
Yeah, be the change you want to be.
No.
To see pala. Be the change you want to see. Sorry.
Palitin natin, dapat Philosophy Friday na tayo.
Ay, nalalim nyo.
So profound. This episode is so profound.
Talagang mga ang lalalim ng mga
susugan mo na sa
fellow host natin dito. Meanwhile, Maricel, thank you so much. Stay safe and well. Sabi ni Maricel, ikaw din, ha? Please be healthy, everyone. Sana ngayon may baha. And then si Benjamin. Magandang gabi po. Thank you for sharing your time, knowledge, and experience. Much appreciated. Okay, sana po you join us again sa next week sa aming 7th official episode. But technically, our 10th episode. Pang-sampu na yung next week. So, malapit na po kami maka-isang dosena. Siguro papahinga po muna kami. But again, on behalf of my colleagues from NADPOP, from PH-CERT and from BounceBack. Sana po you'll be able to bounce back better than ever in this pandemic. At the same time, yun po, hyper-focus on people, strengthen your ecosystems, and of course, innovate. And sabi nga ni Professor Arnie Barcelo, dapat we should put our thoughts into action. Yun po yung message ko, kailangan we need to act. Pagka na-certify kayo ni Attorney Kiko sa kanyang course, boom, i-apply nyo na agad. Kung kailangan nyo ng tulong, mag-reach out kayo sa amin. Nandito lang po kami. Okay? Again, see you next week. Maraming salamat po. Again, dito Attorney Kiko Acero, Abed de la Cruz, and of course, Professor Arnie Barcelo. Maraming salamat and have a nice weekend, everyone. Meron ko ba last one, no?
Keep safe, everyone.
Gusto kong pasalamatan special guest natin, si Sam Jacoba, for his presentation.
Yes.
Overself ko.
Yan.
Oh. Next week, Abed, next week, kayo ang bahala. So, baka maubos na English natin kasi US.
Ayan, kasi.
Yun ang assignment.
Yun na talaga. And again, to our friends from the Privacy and Cybersecurity industries, maraming salamat po. Magkakasama po tayo dito. Hindi po tayo magkakalaban, magkakasangga tayo. And lahat po tayo kailangang tumindig laban sa mga hackers at sa mga data breachers. Maraming salamat po again. And good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.